So I get so many questions about why dismissive avoidant attachment styles tend to fear commitment in relationships. And as you know, the dismissive avoidant is the personality type who tends to lean very avoidant and fear commitment the most in relationships, closely followed by the fearful avoidant disorganized attachment style. So what I wanted to cover in this video and take you through are the three biggest commitment fears that dismissive avoidants would report to me in my private practice for years and years, time and time and time again. And we're going to talk about what those underlying commitment fears really are about and what belief systems they're often related to. So, commitment fear number one is dismissive avoidants have this fear that they will often report as the fear of finding the wrong person, the fear of picking or choosing or committing to the wrong person. And this is how the dismissive avoidant would describe it to me. And what I would do is I would take dismissive avoidance through this idea and help them unpack it a little bit further. And usually here it actually boil down to a couple underlying factors. Number one, dismissive avoidants struggle to actually work through conflict. They usually don't have much modeling for how to hash something out and have a healthy discussion about an unhealthy or potentially challenging situation, right? It's very normal for us to have moments in relationships where we disagree or where something goes wrong or we don't like how somebody handled things. And there's some element of conflict there. But those are fairly solvable things if we have the proper tools to talk through them. We can say, hey, I didn't appreciate the situation too much. I know you might not have meant anything by it, but it affected me in this way. And can we work on this in the future, right? Like we can discuss those nuances of things. But if you don't think that that's a possibility for you because it's an unknown, then what often will happen is you'll start trying to find the perfect person so that you can avoid any argument. And when I would have these discussions with DAs when they were dating and not really willing to settle down, they on some level would realize that they were just avoiding being in a situation where they felt helpless to resolve things. And as a result of that, would feel like there's just going to be all these buildups of problems over time unless they find the person that has, no flaws or they have no differences from. And so it's a subconscious strategy to avoid feeling unsafe in a situation and having conflict and not knowing how to deal with it. And another big one is that dismissive avoidance fear vulnerability. This is all under point number one, the wrong person argument about commitment. But they would say, I don't want to have to like open up or have hard discussions. And there was this element of like fearing being vulnerable. And so there's a subconscious self-protection mechanism that happens for DAs where they push people away when somebody gets too close because what they're really feeling is vulnerability and is a subconscious strategy to push that icky feeling away, which vulnerability doesn't have to be an icky feeling, but dismissive avoidants have associated a lot of negative things with it in their childhood when they went through a lot of neglect. And so because of that, they'll push people away as an attempt to push that uncomfortable feeling away. And as a result of that, it sabotages relationships and their ability to commit. So that's number one. Number two, by the way, if you want to learn how to like find your subconscious limiting beliefs about any situation and actually rewire them in a very simple way that uses really effective results-oriented tools, our whole course about emotional mastery and belief reprogramming is dedicated to that. You can check it out for free for 7 days using the link below. And it will take you through exactly how to find these limiting beliefs that are affecting career. You can focus on any area of your life, relationships, commitment, dating, and it helps you unpack them and then learn how to reprogram them in just a matter of a couple of weeks. So that there's this massive results and turnaround time on these limitations you might have been carrying for years. So anyways, you can check that out down below. But biggest commitment fear is finding the wrong person. Number two, being trapped forever and not being able to leave. Believe it or not, dismissive avoidants have a hard time leaving relationships once they have a certain degree of stability and comfort that comes from them. Dismissive avoidants don't like change as a general rule very much. So once they do commit, they often have this like fear that they project into the future of committing, like being with the wrong person, and then feeling like they're unable to leave. And so the fear is like being trapped forever and not being able to leave something that they've decided is no longer working because they don't trust themselves to do that because of how much they dislike change. And again, this isn't necessarily every DA ever, but I would say it's the vast majority through the vast majority of the conversations I've had over the years in private practice. So I have some exciting news, which is that we are doing $1,000 off of our lifetime membership sale to the Personal Development School, which means you get access to literally everything at PDS for your entire rest of your life. Essentially, that entails all of our different courses you have lifetime access to. I do 4 live webinars a week, every single week. You can access them ongoing. and you get access to all of our daily community events. So I'd love to see you on the other side, and you can access it by using the link in the description box below. Number three, you'll often hear dismissive avoidants believe that they are incapable or not built for relationships. And this is kind of a sad one because a lot of dismissive avoidants, because they didn't have modeling and they don't know how naturally in certain ways to handle certain situations or how to take other people into consideration as much early on, or like learn to sort of make compromises in a healthy way because they're unable to co-regulate. We've got other videos about co-regulation on this channel if you want to check them out. But because they struggle with some of these things initially, often they can just develop this idea about themselves, like, well, I'm not capable, I'm not able to be in a relationship. And it's such a painful limitation because it's keeping you stuck and closed, and it doesn't have to be that way. So another really important thing to pay attention to, and to really question and work on reprogramming these beliefs, because there's a lot of freedom on the other side and a lot of ability to learn, hey, I actually can show up in a relationship and have a really healthy, meaningful relationship where I can have my needs met. I can still have freedom and independence, but I can have this deeply loving and connected relationship at the same time. So I hope this all makes sense. Thank you so much for watching and for being here. If you want to rewire those beliefs and find out exactly what they are for you individually, you can check out that emotional mastery course for free for 7 days below. And if you have any other questions, please post them down below. And if you're enjoying this content, please subscribe to the channel.